Teacher union SADTU and other unions, along with several school governing body associations, have pledged their support for the reopening of schools tomorrow. They do, however, say that no school may open that is not COVID-19 compliant. And to tell us more, I'm joined via Zoom by the South African Democratic Teachers Union National Spokesperson, Nomusa Cebi. Nomusa, a very good evening to you. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to the Globe.
Good evening, and good evening to your listeners.
So can you categorically confirm on record that all your members and all teachers affiliated to SADTU should return to school tomorrow?
Yes, we'll confirm that all SADTU, together with all the other teacher unions, 4 teacher unions and the school governing body associations, we can confirm that we confirm the date of the 8th of June as the return date to schools. This is informed by the surveys that we have conducted as unions, and which is now more closer to what the department has said. The department said like about 94% or 95% of the schools are ready. So we are saying based on that, we are going to go to schools. But however, we are aware that there are 3 provinces that are still in dire straits, in that there's still a challenge of delivery of water and other critical equipment. And those provinces are provinces that are historically disadvantaged or rural provinces of KwaZulu-Natal, of Limpopo and Eastern Cape. However, we are going to go to schools. But even then, we have said to the department, we have made it clear that we would want to see alternative arrangements made to accommodate all the learners from schools that are not COVID-19 compliant. And we'd want to see a plan, to ensure that all schools are compliant. We'd want to see that plan in the shortest time as possible.
I mean, you speak of that you still want to see a plan for accommodating those schools which are not COVID-19 compliant. I mean, you still have less than 12 hours to go before schools opening. When do you think this will be possible? Are you, throwing all the children into the front line?
No, as we have said to teachers that, yes, you can go, but if you find that in your school, the school is still not compliant, you do not need to put your life in danger. We'll repeat the same to the learners and to parents, that if the schools are still not compliant, they should not put the lives of their children in danger. That's why we've asked the department to put alternative arrangements to move learners to the schools that are compliant.
Well, just a short while ago, you mentioned that SADTU has conducted certain surveys which will support the reopening of schools. What kind of survey is that, and what came out of the survey? And most importantly, Nomusa, did you see the medical research that ostensibly supports the rationale for the reopening of schools, for you to arrive at the decision to to support the reopening of schools?
Yes, the department, during the meeting, there was quite a frank and open engagement between the unions and the department. And we were fine with what they told us. But we also made them aware that, yes, we are going back, although we are aware that ideally we would have wanted all schools to go back all at once. But the fact that now 93% of schools do comply, they can go. But in the meantime, the others, the department must come up with alternative schools.
My question is, has SADTU seen the medical research that supports the rationale for the reopening of schools?
The survey that supports the reopening of schools.
No. I'm talking about the medical research that supports the rationale for the reopening of schools. You're saying that SADTU is heavily reliant on the department's decision or position of opening schools. I mean, having conducted your own research, what have you come up with, and what kind of research, or rather, what did you see, the medical research that supports the reopening of schools?
No, I can talk about the research that was done by all the teacher unions. We have done 3 surveys so far regarding the opening of schools. The first was earlier in the month, and the other one was on the 29th, and the last one was on the 5th of June. You know, when we first started, we could see that about 60% of principals, it was done with principals. 60% of principals, they said they were really not ready. And the second one, the numbers improved in the second one, and the third one, the numbers were better. So it was not. We did not only rely on the department, but we did our own surveys, 3 surveys jointly as all teacher unions. Even the last 2, we also included the SGBs, but it was meant for principals to tell us how ready they were.
Now, do you get a sense that a recovery phase was prepared? Bearing in mind that isolation and school closures in general have a negative effect on children's physical and mental well-being, and the fact that some children tend to forget about what they've learned, almost 3 months ago.
Yes, we are aware of those things that happen when children are out of school, after a long time. But we said our emphasis was that we cannot compromise the health and safety of the learners as well as the teachers and all the personnel that are there in schools. We were emphasizing to the department to do all to ensure that safety measures are there, or that the department tries their best to comply with COVID-19 regulations. So from what we've seen in the survey, we can see that there is some kind of improvement towards ensuring that schools comply with COVID-19. However, we are not entirely certain because it's not 100%, but we are saying in the meantime, measures could be done. As we have said, that alternative arrangements should be made to accommodate all the learners from the other schools to be sent to schools that are compliant. But as that is happening, the department should ensure that schools comply as soon as possible.
Now, the issue of the readiness of schools to reopen is a matter of much contention. I mean, so much has been said about the school readiness across the board and across the country, with the historical issue of the lack of sanitation at some of the disadvantaged schools, the lack of water and infrastructure challenges, as well as the delivery of very critical PPEs still hasn't been completed. So are you at all, cognizant of the fact that schools are definitely not ready?
Yes, we are cognizant of the fact that not all schools have or are fully compliant. Hence, even the surveys, they do not say that the schools are 100% compliant, but we are saying that we are emphasizing to members, even to parents, even to learners, to say, if your school is not compliant and they haven't made alternative arrangements for you to go to a school that is compliant, you have every right to say you cannot expose yourself to danger by going into a school that is not compliant. So even as members go back to school tomorrow, if schools are not compliant and there are no alternative arrangements that are made, they shouldn't put their lives in danger.
You know, Nomusa, I know that it is quite impossible for a 6-year-old child to wear a face mask continuously for 6 hours a day. It is almost impossible to expect a child not to touch his or her face. So, and it's almost impossible to expect a child to know to wash their hands for about 20 seconds. So do you get a sense that children have been capacitated already in terms of practicing these safety mechanisms?
As schools will be starting tomorrow, it's going to be orientation. Learners will be orientated on this new normal that they have to adapt to, and because things are phased in, we believe that, for instance, the grade 12, it will be grade 12 and grade 7. we believe that perhaps these grades will be in a position, especially grade 12, to adapt easily. But more time would have to be taken to ensure that the grade 7s adapt. And later on, as other lower grades come in, more time would have to be spent to ensure that they adapt. But we would also like to appeal to parents to also try and ensure that the children at home also, adjust to this new normal. We are going to be orientating learners in school, but we will have to change even the periods. Perhaps there'll have to be more breaks so that learners can be able to breathe, whilst they get used to using these new gadgets.
And what about the learners with long-term health conditions? Has any provision been made for those?
Yes, preparations have been made for those that, they must. We should know that they have these conditions, and preparations will have to be made so that perhaps they can be taught at home, or arrangements can be made as to how they can be how they can further their studies.
All right, Nomusa, thank you so much for your time, much appreciated, and all the best tomorrow.
Thank you.
All right, that was the South African Democratic Teachers Union National Spokesperson, Nomusa Cebi. Well, the union says schools must be COVID-19 compliant, and she's been giving us an update as to the readiness of some schools to reopen.